Okay, cool guys, cool. So yeah, I think a couple of questions I gave you guys as homework, right? So I'll discuss it towards the end of the class, right? So today I think we'll start with a new topic, right? Which is an interesting topic, right? And it is like mostly theoretical and easy to understand, to be very honest, right? And once you start solving more problems on the topic, you will start learning more, right? But what I want to do today is give you an introduction of strings and give you an idea of all the basic methods and things that you need to know about strings, so that when you are solving problems on strings, you have the bare minimum necessity and the basic knowledge of strings that are required to solve the assignments as well as the problems. Okay, and tomorrow anyways we're having a problem solving session, so we'll discuss all our pending problems tomorrow. Okay, cool guys. So let's start with strings. So I'll just move to the PPT. Okay, it's visible to everyone. Is my PPT visible to all? Okay, cool. So the topic that we will be starting with today is strings, right? Now, it is one of the very fundamental and basic topics that is pending. So I think let us, get done with strings, okay? And then towards the end, we can discuss the couple of problems that we left for two-dimensional arrays. And if not today, tomorrow we can definitely discuss, right? So let's start with the concept of strings, right? So first of all, I ask you a very, very basic question. What is a string, right? Let's start with the very, very basic question. What is a string? Okay. Now, a string is basically a non-primitive data type. Okay. What is a string? A string is a non-primitive data type. So when I was talking about the data types, right, we had a look at the fundamental or the primitive data types that were available in Java. And what were the 8 fundamental or primitive data types that we saw in Java? The 8 primitive data types, can anybody recall? We had byte, we had short, we had int, okay, we had float, we had double, we had long, we had char, and we had boolean. Okay, were these the 8? Yeah, these were the 8 primitive data types. And what did we mean when we say a primitive data type? That was, these are the fundamental data types. These are the most fundamental data types that are already built in Java. Okay, these are the very basic or the primitive data types that are already built in Java. And every data type here has a fixed size. Okay, now one data type that we talked about at that time was strings. And what did I tell you? Boss, a string is a non-primitive data type. It is not a primitive data type, right? And what are strings ideally? A string is nothing but it is a collection of multiple characters. Now, what is a string? See guys, today's class is very simple. If you pay attention, right, you will understand all the details and I'll try to explain it in the most simplest manner possible, right? So what is string? A string is nothing but it is a collection of multiple characters placed one after the other. Okay. So think of it like, you place multiple characters. Let's say I'm writing my name, right? So I put together AADARSH, Adarsh, and let's say whatever, right, is a good boy. Something like this, right? So I put multiple characters one after the other. Okay. This is what is known as a string. So what is a string? A string is nothing but a collection of multiple characters, one after the other. And why do I say that a string is a non-primitive data type? Because you can form a string by putting together multiple characters, and characters are primitive data types. So you can put multiple primitive data types one after the other and you get the formation of a string. Okay. So what is a string? Long story short, a string is a non-primitive data type. Okay. And what do I say? A string is basically an object in Java. Okay. It is an object. A string is a non-primitive data type, or I can say that string is an object in Java. And very simply, a string is nothing but it is a collection of multiple characters. You have multiple characters placed one after the other, and that is giving rise to a string. Okay. Now you will come and ask me, hey, string is a non-primitive data type, right? What is the meaning of this statement? The meaning of this statement will be that the size of a string is not fixed, right? A string is like an object. If I am making a string like Adarsh is a good boy, it will occupy some different amount of space in memory. And if I make a string like just this, Adarsh, it will, it will occupy some different amount of space in memory. The fundamental meaning of a non-primitive data type is the space that it occupies in memory, that is not fixed. That will depend on what is the string that you are declaring. Okay. So it's not like every string will have 5 bytes of space allocated in memory, or every string will have 10 bytes of space allocated in memory. No, it will depend from string to string. Okay. Now, so the next question that you will ask me, okay, string is a non-primitive data type, or, string is an object. Okay. So we have just started with the discussion on string. That string is a non-primitive data type. Okay. And what is a non-primitive data type? You can think of it like a string is an object, and non-primitive data types or objects, they don't have a fixed size. So depending on the string that you are storing, depending on the string, right, the amount of memory will be reserved. So it is not like that every time you make a string, 5 bytes of memory will be reserved or 10 bytes of memory will be reserved. It is not like that. Okay. Now, what is a string? A string is nothing but a collection of multiple characters placed one after the other. Okay. See, array is also not a primitive data type, right? Array is also an object. Okay. And array is also an object. We'll talk about it in more details later. Okay. But yes, string is an object. Okay. Now, see, what is a primitive data type? Primitive data types are the fundamental data types that are already declared in Java, right? And all these data types, they have a fixed size. So whenever I say int, I know that I am talking about 4 bytes. Whenever I talk of char, I know that I am talking about 2 bytes. But when I say you are talking of a non-primitive data type, or let's say an object, right? So the size that an object actually occupies in memory, that will be dependent on what is the object. It will not have a fixed size. And that is why we say that strings are a non-primitive data types. Another way to understand is a string is nothing but it is a collection of multiple characters placed one after the other. And because you can make a string by stitching together multiple characters, I say that a string is a non-primitive data type. You can make it via multiple primitive data types of char. Okay, cool. Yes, array is also an object. We will talk about it. Okay. So now the next question that comes is, okay, how do I declare a string, or how do I make and use a string, right? So there are two ways of making a string. Okay, there are two ways of making a string. How? The first way is via the string literal, So how do you make a string? String s is equal to, then within double quotes, you can write whatever string you want to write, right? Whatever string you want to write, you can specify within double quotes. So this is one of the ways of making a string. String, then you write the variable name equal to, within double quotes, you write whatever contents you want to store in the string. Okay. Now, array is an object, right? So its size is definitely not fixed. It will depend on how many objects you want to store inside your array. Okay. Okay, yeah, S will be capital here, right? String ka S is capital. Okay. So this is one of the ways of making a string. Now, guys, I will tell you something very, very interesting, right? So this is one way of making a string, and excuse me. And this way of making a string, I say that this is a string literal. So I am defining the contents of a string directly using double quotes. So we say that this is how I am making a string literal. Okay. Now, okay, let me go to the, online GDB. Okay. Anyways, let's go after 2 minutes, right? So this is one of the ways of making a string, right? And now if I want to print the string, what will I do? Literal is basically a constant, right? देखो जब मैं ऐसे लिख रहा हूं ना, string s is equal to, then within quotes I specify the contents of a string. Then we say that this is the literal way of declaring a string, right? So you are specifying the contents like this. Okay. So this is a literal, string literal. S is nothing but a string literal here. Okay. So now if I want to print this string, what will I do? System.out.println, I will just write S. So this entire string Adarsh will be printed to the screen. Okay. Now, there is another way of making a string, right? There is another way of making a string. Okay. A string is an object, right? String is an object. See, literal means a constant, right? So this is a string literal, right? It is a variable, but its value you have basically fixed via double quotes, right? You have specified the value. So this way of making, a string, we call it as the string literal, where you are hard coding or defining the value of your string yourself within double quotes. Okay. Now, the second way of making a string, see, we don't want to go into very much details here. We just want to understand the fundamental ideas. Okay. Now, the second way of making a string can be something like this. String T, okay, is equal to new string, okay. Then within brackets, you can specify the contents of your string. Okay, let's say AAD. Okay. So string T is equals to new string AAD. So what is this way of making a string? I am telling boss, there is a string by the name of T. And what it is, at runtime, a new string object will be created. And what is the contents of that string? AAD. Okay. Now you will ask me, hey Adarsh, both of them are strings, right? S is also a string and T is also a string, right? So what is the fundamental difference between these two ways of creating strings? Can anybody tell me? What is the fundamental difference between these two ways of creating string? Can anybody tell me? Anybody? New will create heap memory. Okay, we can take string. String is editable. No, string is not editable, right? See, one thing for sure is strings are immutable. You will come across this term very often. Strings are immutable. Now, what do I mean when I say immutable? You cannot change the contents of a string. You cannot change or manipulate the contents of a string. So what is the fundamental difference between both of these strings? So I will tell you, right? So there is something known as the idea of a string pool versus heap memory, right? So I will give you one context, right? See, creating an object, देखो एक ऑब्जेक्ट बनाने में ना कंप्यूटर को बहुत टाइम लगता है. Think of it like making an object is a very, very expensive process, right? So I don't want to always create objects. Okay, think of it like whenever you create an object, okay, whenever your computer creates an object, it is a very, very expensive process and it, consumes a lot of memory and your CPU power. Think of it like this. It takes some time, right? Now, there are two parts of memory that we talk about, right? There are two parts of memory, especially when dealing with strings, right? So one part of the memory, I say as string pool. We say as string pool, okay? And then there is another part of memory. Let me call it as the heap memory. Okay, heap memory. Now I will give you an understanding of what is the fundamental difference between the two types of making strings. Okay. So suppose you make a string like this. The boss string T is equals to new string. So whenever you are making the string via the new keyword, okay, whenever you are making a string via the new keyword, you are telling that boss, please create a new string object for me. So isme I am telling, please create a new string object for me. And the contents of that object will be AAD. And where will this string object be created? This string object will be created inside my heap memory. Okay. So for your understanding, let's say I have made a new string object by the contents of AAD. And let's say that T is pointing to this string object. Okay. So this object will be created at runtime inside my heap memory. Okay. Now let's say I write another statement. Okay. Let's say string P is equals to new string. Okay. I make another new string. And again, the contents is same as AAD. Okay. Now guys, try to understand. I have created another string P. How? New string AAD. So what I am telling, boss, create a new string object and have the contents of that string as AAD. So another string object will be created and the contents of this string object will be AAD and P will be pointing here. Okay, try to understand what is happening in the memory. So if I ask you, are the contents of string S, are the contents of string T and P the same? I ask you a question. Are the contents of string P and T the same? Yes, they are the same. But I ask you, are these two strings the same? Are these two objects identical? No, the objects are not identical. They are occupying different addresses in the memory. This T is pointing to this object, okay, which might be present at address 1000, okay. And this P is basically, pointing to a different string object. This might be present at address 2000, okay. So when you compare these two strings like this, if you do P equal to T, now guys, another very interesting question, right? So whenever you basically make a string object, okay, whenever you make a string object, right? So string is basically an object, right? It is a non-primitive data type, okay. So when I want to compare the contents of two string, now, if you do P equal to T, can you tell me what will you get? True or false? You voice is not clear. Ananya, I think please rejoin using the client. I think the voice is not clear to just you, right? So whenever you are comparing two strings like this by double equal to, right? Actually, you are not comparing the contents of the string. You are not comparing the contents. You are comparing the addresses of P and T, and these addresses will be different. So this will give you a false. Okay. If you want to compare the contents of the string now, then you will have a method is equals. You have a method is equals. So you will have to do something like this. T dot is equals P. If you do something like this, this will tell you whether the contents of string T and P are the same or not. This will give you true. Okay. So long story short, if you make a string via the new keyword, अगर आप string बनाते हो via the new keyword, then that string, then it basically creates a new string object in the heap memory. So always a new string object will be created inside the heap memory. Okay. And when you compare two strings by double equals, now it is just comparing the addresses of the two strings and not the contents. In order to compare the contents, you have to use the is equals method, which is associated with strings. Okay. Now you will say me, hey Adarsh, this is one of the ways of making a string. Now what happens if I do something like this? String A is equal to Adarsh. Now let's say I declare a string using a literal. I declare a string like this. Okay. Now when we make strings like this, now we are generally storing strings in the string pool. We will be storing inside the string pool. So when I write a statement like string A is equal to Adarsh, you know what first happens? Dekho boss, and making an object is a very, very expensive process. So what will happen? First of all, I will check, is there an Adarsh inside the string pool? Do you see an Adarsh inside the string pool? No, an Adarsh is not present in the string pool. So what will happen? A new object will be created, okay? And the contents of the object will be Adarsh, okay? And let's say that A is pointing to this particular object, okay? Now you will say, what is the difference? This is what was happening in the heap. But now you will understand what happens. Now let's say I write a statement like string B is equal to, again I write Adarsh. Again I write Adarsh, okay? I say string B is equal to Adarsh. So do you know what will first happen? Because you are making strings like this using the literal format, what the compiler first does it checks the string pool. Is there a string already containing Adarsh? It will see, yes, there is already a string object that is containing Adarsh. So this statement will not create a new string object in the string pool. You know what will happen? B will just be pointing to this same object, Adarsh, which was existing inside my string pool. Okay. So अब क्या होगा guys? If I do A equal to B, you know what will happen? This time I will get a true, because both A and B are pointing to the same string object, so their addresses will be the same. And if you compare the contents, they will also give you true. Okay. So basically, जब भी मैं string pool में store करना चाहता हूँ ना, there will not be any duplicates in the string pool. Okay. So let's say if I want to store another string C is equal to again Adarsh. Okay. So it will first of all check, is there an Adarsh in the string pool? Yes, Adarsh is already present in the string pool. So this time a new object will not be created. This variable C will be pointing to the same Adarsh object that is present in the string pool. Okay. But if you were making new strings via the new keyword, then each time a new object will be created in the heap memory. Okay. If you change the contents of A, will B get affected? So first of all, I will ask you one question. You can never change the contents of a string. You can never change the contents of a string. Strings are immutable. Okay. But then you will ask me one question. Okay. Which is expensive? आप लोग सोच के बताओ which is expensive. Which is expensive? See, the concept of the string pool was introduced because I don't want to create objects again and again. ठीक है? अगर मेरे को एक ही object से काम होता है ना, तो I can simply make strings like this, and this will just point to the same existing object. Okay. Now one thing you will ask me, hey Adarsh, you told us that strings are immutable, but we have seen statements like this. Let's say string s is equal to Adarsh. Can you tell me where will this be present? In the heap or in the string pool? If I make a string like this, where will it be present, guys? In the heap or in the string pool? In the string pool, right? Now you ask me, hey Adarsh, we have seen statements like this. S plus equal to, hello. And then if we print the contents of S, what will be printed? Adarsh, hello. Okay. Adarsh, hello. Right. So what is this? आपने बोला अभी कि strings are not immutable, and now you are only concatenating and changing the contents of a string. Now here I want you guys to understand a very, very important concept, right? So whenever you do a string concatenation, actually, what happens? See, in the string pool, initially there, S was pointing to Adarsh. Okay. Now, when I say S plus equal to hello, what will happen? I am asking you, can you concatenate hello to Adarsh? Okay. So an entirely new string will be created. An entirely new string will be created with the contents Adarsh, hello. Okay. And this S will now be pointing to this string object. Okay. This Adarsh will be, this will remain in my memory somewhere. But now S will be pointing to a brand new string object which is consisting of hello. So you might get the impression that the contents of S is changing, but actually the contents of string S has not changed. A brand new string has been created and S is pointing to this brand new string object. Okay. Is this making sense? This will be there, right? This will be present inside my string pool, and some point later, right, there will be a Java garbage collection that will get invoked and this will be cleared from the memory. Correct. The address of S will have changed. When I do S plus equal to hello, the address of S will get changed. Okay. How many of you are clear with this fundamental idea? Okay. So another question is, what if I do something like this? String S is equal to Adarsh. Okay. And later I do S is equal to AccuJob. Can you tell me what will happen? A new string will be created in the string pool with the contents of AccuJob, and earlier S was pointing to Adarsh, but now this S will point to AccuJob and Adarsh will lie somewhere in the memory. Okay. What to use when? You can use either of them interchangeably, right? You will see when you solve questions, you will see both can, you can use both of them independently or interchangeably, right? But did you get the basic idea of what, how I can create a new string object in the heap, and what is the difference when I want to create a string object in the string pool? Okay. Cool. Let's go to the online GDB. Okay, I'll share links with you. You can read it, right? See, heap is nothing. Heap is like your runtime memory, right? So at runtime, see, whenever objects are created now, objects are always created during runtime. And if you are creating a string using the new keyword, the string object will be created in the heap memory. Okay. And if you are creating the string object using the literal format, the string object will be created inside the string pool. Okay. Cool. It's not mutable, right? you might get an idea that it is changing, but are you able to change the contents of your original string? No. You have to create a brand new string from scratch. That is why we say that strings are immutable. You can never make changes to an existing string. You will always have to create a new string from scratch. Okay. Cool. Now let's try to understand more about strings, and we will understand via theory itself, right? So if string contains integer, what happens? It can contain, why not? You can have na string s is equal to 1 2 3 4. This is also a valid string, right? Not a problem. Okay. String pool equal to static memory. You can think of it, Vishnu, if you want to understand it like that, you can think of it, right? But I would not label it like a static, but yeah, if you can understand it via that. Okay. Is pool and heap concept also. See, now array is also an object, right? So try to understand. एक statement मैं लिख रहा हूँ which will help you. Whenever you create an object, listen to me very, very carefully. Whenever you create an object using the new keyword, the object is always created in the heap. Okay, very important statement. Whenever you create an object using new keyword, okay, object is created in heap memory. Okay, and the reference to that object will be present in the stack memory. Okay, but see guys, these are all architectural details of Java, right? Even if you don't go much into details, it is fine, right? You just have to fundamentally understand the difference between a string pool and a heap. Ki boss, when you are creating a string using a literal format, first of all, you check inside the string pool. If the string is already there, you just have a pointer to that same object. But if you create via the new keyword, every time you are creating a new string object. Okay? Cool. Now let's try to dive deeper into it, right? Others, or let's write this. Hello world. What are you doing? Is this a valid string, guys? Is this a valid string? Is this a valid string? First of all, tell me. Do you think it is a valid string? Why? Because within double quotes, we have put together multiple characters one after the other. So this is a valid string, right? Now, if I want to print this string, what do? System.out.printlns, right? And if we run it, you will see that the contents of this string will be printed. Okay. Now, whenever you make any string, whenever you have any string, right? One of the first things that you have to understand is there are multiple functions. There are multiple methods that you can apply on a string. Okay. There are multiple functions which you can call on a string. And the first important function that we want to understand with strings is the length function, right? So I'll make a short string so that you guys understand. Okay, let's say hello world full stop, right? Now try to understand, guys. Whenever I talk of strings, okay, I'll make it in the PPT itself. So whenever you make a string, right? Whenever you make a string, every string has a length. Okay, let's say I make a string hello space world full stop. Let's say this is my string, right? So there will be a length associated with a string. And what is the length? The number of characters that you have in the string, that is the length of the string. So if I want to count the length, if I want to know the length of this string, what is the length? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Space is also a character, right? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Full stop is a character 12. So can I say hello space world full stop? This string is having 12 letters. Okay. So if I ask you the length of this string, the length of this string will be 12. Okay. And you can imagine your string to be an array of characters, multiple characters, one after the other. So every character has an index. Okay, you have the concept of an indexing in string also. So again, indexing starts from 0. So H is at index number 0, E is at index number 1, L is at index 2, this L is at index 3, O is at index 4, space is at index 5, this is index 6, index 7, index 8, index 9, index 10, and full stop is at index 11. So this string has a length of 12. And what are the valid indexes? From index 0 till index 11. Do strings end with null character? No. C में होता है, not exactly in Java. In C, it happens that whenever you want to terminate a string, you generally put the \0 character, but we don't do such things in Java. That's internally taken care of. You don't have to worry. Okay. You cannot store two characters in a single index. One index means one character. Okay. So let's again go to the PPT. The code. Okay. So first of all, if I want to print the length of the string, yes, Naveen, see, there is nothing special about a space. A space is another character itself, right? It is just another character. Okay. So inside length, space will also be counted. Why not? Because it is just another character. Okay. So if I want to print the length of the string, how the other data type stored same like heap or maybe pool. See, the concept of a pool is generally coming for strings, right? It was seen that you don't want to create new string objects again and again. So inside Java, people coded up this concept of a string pool. It's not there for other data types, right? Other objects that you create, they are created directly inside the heap. There is no concept of a pool. Okay. Now, how do I know the length of the string? You have a function length. How do you call it? S dot, the name of the string, first you will write dot length. And after length, you will write a bracket open, bracket close. Okay. See guys, when we were, can you on your camera and teach us? Okay, we'll see. Okay, let's focus on the class for the time being. I think it's going pretty fine, right? Okay. So what I am telling you is length is a function associated with a string. Remember guys, when you were printing the length of an array, you were doing ARR dot length. You were not putting bracket open, bracket close. Okay. But whenever you are printing the length of a string or you want to know the length of a string, you will have to write dot length followed by bracket open, bracket close, because this is a function. This is not an attribute. Okay. So you can call the dot length method and it will tell you the length of the string. What is the length? The length of the string should be 12. Let us try to run it and see. 12. Okay. So I'll keep on writing here what are the important methods that we are discussing. Gives the length or the number of characters, right? Whatever way you want to understand this. This basically gives us the length or the number of characters in the string. Okay. Now we understand the length, right? We understand the concept of a length. Okay. Now, once we have made a string, what did I tell you? There is a concept of indexing inside string, right? And the first character starts at index number 0. And the last character, let's say if I make a string of length m, then what will be the index of the last character? Can you help me? If I am making a string of length m, then what is the index of the last character of the string? M minus 1. Correct? Great. Now, if I ask you, hey Adarsh, can you tell me what is the character at the index number 1 of the string? Okay. Now, I know that at every index, you will have a character. What if I want to know the character at a particular index? So there we come to a function known as char at. How does it work? I'm just printing it. Okay. So S dot, right? You write char at. Okay. Char at. And within brackets, you will specify the index. Okay. So let's say I write 1. So what I am telling you, can you tell me what is the character at index number 1 of string S? So I am asking, what is the character at index number 1? So what is the char at function? It will take the index. Listen to me very carefully. Char at gives the character at the index. So you have to supply the index and it will tell you what character is present at that particular index. So if I print s dot char at 1, which character will be printed? Small e. Because at index number 1, you have e. Okay. Can we get index like s of 1? No, you cannot write index like s of 1. Strings have a function char at associated and you have to use that. Okay. Now, yes, if you can convert your string into an array of characters, then you can use s of 1 like you used for an array. Okay. But yeah, for strings, you have the char at function. It gives the character at the particular index. Okay. Now, Now, the next function or the next method that we want to understand with strings is the index of method, right? Now, what does it do? Let us try to understand, right? S dot index of, you have a method index of, okay? And you can basically put a character, okay? Let's say I put character E, okay? So what does index of give you? Index of will give us the index. It will take a character and it will give us the index of the first occurrence of character. Okay. It will give me the index of the first occurrence of character. Now you will have a question. Hey, what if the character occurs multiple times? Index of, when you use it like this, right? It will give you the index of the first occurrence. So if there are multiple E's, you will get the index of the first occurrence of E. Okay. And then your question will be, what if the character is not present? So if the character is not present, index of will give you -1. Okay. So let us try to run it and see. So what will be the index of E? 0, 1. This is the index where character E is occurring for the first time. So I should see the output as E. So 1 should be printed, C1. Okay. 1 is the index where this character is occurring for the first time. And let's say if I search for a character, let's say Z, right? I search for Z, S dot index of Z. So this should print -1. This will return -1 because the character Z is not present in the string. So let us try to run it and see. Okay, -1. Okay. So index of will give you the index of the first occurrence of the character and -1 if character is not present. Okay. Is everyone clear till here? See, index can never be negative, right? That is why it is giving you -1 now. See, if the character is not present, then it returns -1. And if the character is present, it will give you the index of the first occurrence of that character. Okay. Now you can also have index of like this. There is another way of using index of, right? I want to find the index of character E. Okay. But after this, you can even specify an index. So let's say I specify index as 3. So do you know what I am trying to say? Boss, can you find the index of character E? And from where will you start searching? You will start searching from index number 3. So 0, 1, 2, 3. So you will start searching from this L. So what is the string? LO space world. This is the string. And does it contain an E? No, it does not contain an E. So it will return a -1 to me. So you can even specify an index here. Okay. So this will return index of E. And from where it will start searching? It will start searching. It will start searching from index 3. Okay. Is this making sense, guys? So this will print a -1, right? I am telling, can you tell me what is the index of the occurrence of E? But this time you will start searching from index number 3. So what is index number 3? This L. Is index number 3 an E? No. Then you will go to index number 4. Is it an E? No. Then you will go to index number 5. Is it an E? No. Likewise, you will check the entire string and you didn't find the character E starting from index number 3. So definitely this will return a -1 and you will print the -1 out. Okay, let's try to run it. Why not from index 2? Because I have specified index 3. If you want to search from index 2, you put it like this, E comma 2. Okay, E comma 2. So now you will start searching from index number 2. Still, this will give you -1 only, right? Correct. Correct, Ilhan. So when you write index of E comma 2, I am telling start searching from index 2. Okay. So whatever is the first occurrence of E starting from index 2, you will get that occurrence back. And if there is no occurrence of E starting from index 2, you will get a -1. Okay. Is this making sense, guys? Why -1? Have a look, guys. what is at index number 2? This L, right? So you start searching from index number 2. Is index number 2 an E? No. Is index number 3 an E? No. Index number 4 E है क्या? नहीं. Is index number 5 an E? No. Is index number 6 an E? No. Likewise, you will keep on searching and no index is corresponding to an E. So you don't find a character E when you start searching from index number 2. So it will return -1. Ki boss, starting from index 2, the character E is not present in the string. Okay? Is everyone clear with this? Yes. Cool. See, line number 17 क्या बोल रहा है? मेरे को कैरेक्टर ई का इंडेक्स बताओ स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम पोजीशन नंबर 2. ओके, सो यू विल स्टार्ट सर्चिंग फ्रॉम इंडेक्स नंबर 2. मतलब क्या हो रहा है देखो भाई, दिस इज इंडेक्स नंबर 0, इंडेक्स नंबर 1, इंडेक्स नंबर 2. So you start searching from this index L. Okay, is this E? No. क्या इसके अगला वाला E है? No. Is this E? No. Is this E? No. You search the remaining part of the string and you don't find any. So this will return -1. Okay. Okay. Now, similarly, you can have the same function for strings also. Okay. You can run the same function for strings also. So if I do something like s dot index of, and let's say I write LO. Okay. LO. So what I want to see, I am searching for the occurrence of LO. I am searching for the occurrence of LO. So wherever you find LO for the first time, you will get the index of occurrence of LO. So where is LO occurring for the first time? See, here is LO. So what is this index? 0, 1, 2, 3. So index number 3. So this will say that boss, the first occurrence of LO is index number 3. Okay. So if you don't specify any index now, it starts searching from index number 0. Okay. So this will print a 3. Let us try to see. C3. But if you say something like this, ki boss start searching from index number 4. So now you are starting to search from index number 4. And from index number 4, do you see an LO present? Do you see an LO present from index number 4? Bhaiya, O has been considered. See now, if you want to search for the index of LO, right? LO is present for the first time here. So it will give you the starting index of LO, which is index number 3. Okay. And similarly, if you tell search for LO starting from index number 4, then starting from index number 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, you don't have an LO. So this will print a -1. Okay. So same. Okay. No, this is not a character, right? This time I am searching for the presence of a string. I am searching where is the string LO. Wherever I find the string LO, the index of that will be returned. Okay. Cool. What if we give search index as negative? Okay. Now, see, now these questions you can try to ask, right? So let's say if I give the search index -4, let's see, we have a piece of compiler, right? So let's try to see. Okay. So it actually gives you the correct index as 3, but it's not really recommended, right? It's not really recommended, I would say. Okay. Now after this index of, the next function that we want to understand is uppercase and lowercase. Okay, uppercase and lowercase. Pretty simple, right? So you basically have a function s dot LO 18. 18 is nothing, right? You are searching for LO starting from index number 4. So what is index number 4? Can you tell me what character is present at index number 4? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. O is present, right? So you start searching from this O. Is there any LO? Is there any LO starting from here? No, there is no, right? There is no LO starting from index number 4. अगर आप fourth index से start करोगे search करना, you don't have an LO in this word. So it will print a -1. Okay. खाली O से नहीं चलेगा ना, LO मिलना चाहिए पूरा. Okay, if you run it, you will see -1 is printed. What happened? Okay, sorry. Okay, Geeta, you will only tell me why double quotes is used for LO and why not single quotes. I think we have covered this thing. Okay, cool. Let's move further. Let's move further, right? So the next function that we want to understand is what if you want to convert your string into uppercase or lowercase characters, right? So you have a function two uppercase and two lowercase, right? So what do? S dot two uppercase. You have a function two uppercase, right? And you put brackets, right? And see, guys, U is capital, C is capital, right? So the starting of every word is capital. So if you write S dot two uppercase, it will make all the letters as capital. Now you will come and ask me, Bhaiya meko batao, do you think you are making actual changes to the string S? When I say print S dot to uppercase, do you think you are making actual changes to string S? No, you are not making, right? It is just another copy string, right? If you print S in the next line, now you will see that no changes has taken place for S. Let us try to run it and see. See, hello world is printed. So this string has been converted into uppercase. Okay. See, if you add multiple strings, right? If you like concatenate multiple strings, you are actually creating a new string object. Okay. Long story short, you cannot make alterations to a given string object. Whenever you try to make any alteration, a fresh new string object is created. Okay. This S dot to uppercase is a new string, right? If you want to understand, you can understand like this, right? String T is equals to S dot, let's say two lowercase. Okay, this is another method. So a new string will be created, which is containing all the characters of S in lowercase. And I will point that object with T. And then if you print T, you will see that it is indeed consisting of all lowercase characters. Okay. See, hello world. Okay. So this was uppercase and lowercase. This is self-explanatory. Okay. Lowercase is also fine. Self-explain. Is everyone clear till here? Is everyone clear till here? Yes. Okay. Okay. भाई क्या हो गया कैमरा के लिए? Is it not going fine? Okay, please focus on the class. I think if you focus more on the content, that will be better. Okay, cool. So after understanding how to convert the string into uppercase or lowercase, right? Now, if I want to print hell RD from hello world, is it possible? It's definitely. You can, right? You can. Why not? Why not? Right? Okay. Now, see guys, you will have multiple doubts, right? And that is where Googling up will come into the picture, right? Because strings is a very broad topic. So you will get a question. Can I change the first letter to capital only and not change any other character? Good question. Good question. And I will also give you these kind of questions as homework, right? You are given a sentence. Can you convert the starting of every word to capital? Okay. So all these questions will be there where you have to, start thinking more. Okay, definitely we'll discuss all these, but I won't be giving you all the answers on the first day itself. Otherwise, you won't be thinking yourself. Okay, cool. So let's come. What is line number 20? Line number 20 is nothing. What is line number 20 doing? S dot to lowercase. So a brand new string will be created, which is consisting of all the characters of S in lowercase. Okay. And I am making T point to that particular string. Okay. Test में strings नहीं आएगा. Okay. So what will happen? What will happen? This entire string, new string is created, which is having all the characters in lowercase, and T is pointing to this particular string object. Okay. Cool guys. Let's move on, right? Let's move on. Now, what is a substring, right? Now I will come to the concept of substring. I'll take doubts, right? I'll take doubts later, right? If I always keep looking at the charts, it will be very difficult for me to proceed forward, right? So any other doubts, please wait for some time. I'll take towards the later part. Okay. Okay. Yeah, see, this is a new string, right? This is a new string. That is what I am showing now. When you do s dot to lowercase, a new string is created. If you want to print that string, you can print it. If you want to store it in some variable, you can store it and then later print, right? New string is created always. Okay. Now, what is a substring or what is a sub array? Let us come to that, right? Let's come to a concept of substring or sub array. Okay. Is anybody familiar with the concept of a substring or a sub array? Anyone? Anyone? क्या होता है substring और sub array? No. So, what is a substring or a sub array, right? So, whenever I say substring or a sub array, think of it like a substring or a sub array is a contiguous portion. It is a contiguous part of a string. What is a substring? A substring is nothing but it is a contiguous part of a string. Okay, that is a substring. And what is a sub array? A contiguous part of an array. When I talk of a contiguous part of an array, that is what is a sub array. Now let me take examples to make you guys understand what is a substring or a sub array. Right, let's talk of the concept of substrings and you will automatically understand sub array. So let's say that my string is A, B, C, D, E, F. This is the string that I am talking about, right? And what I am telling you, a substring is a continuous portion of a string. Any continuous portion of this string, let us call this string as S, right? Any continuous portion of this string is a substring. So I will ask you, hey, is this a valid substring BCD? If I ask you, is this a valid substring of S? Yes, this is a valid substring. Why? Because BCD is a continuous portion of the bigger string. Dekh lo, BCD, they occur one after the other. This is a continuous part of this bigger string. So this is a substring. Okay. So if I ask you, what are all the substrings of 3 letters? What are all the substrings of 3 letters? I will ask you, I will tell you, ABC is a string. Look at it very carefully. ABC is a substring, right? Because all these characters are occurring one after the other. BCD is another substring. Okay. CDE is another substring. And DEF is another substring. Do you all agree that these are the 4 substrings or 3-letter substrings that we are talking about? Okay. Now, if I ask you, is BEF a valid substring? I ask you, is BEF a valid substring? The answer will be no. Because a substring should be continuous. Okay. So after letter B, you cannot pick up E. After B, you have to pick up C. If you are picking up E now, then BEF, this is not continuous. This is not continuous, right? So this is not a substring. I call this as a subsequence. If you are not picking up characters one after the other in a continuous fashion, right, then it is a subsequence. But what is a substring? A substring is any continuous part of a string. Okay. Now you will ask me, hey Adarsh, why you have taken substrings of only length 2? Why not length 3? Why not length 4? Why not length 1? So I tell you, you can pick up substrings of any length, right? So now if I ask you, what are the substrings of length 1? What are the substrings of length 1? I just take this character A. This is also a valid substring of length 1, right? If you just take this character A, you are talking about, a continuous part of the string only, right? Another substring of length 1 will be B. Another substring will be C. Then will be D. Then will be E. Then will be F. These are 6 substrings of length 1. Now, if I ask you, what are the substrings of length 2? Then AB. AB will be a substring. Dekho. Okay. BC can be another substring. Okay. CD can be another substring. See, all these are continuous parts of a string. DE is another substring. EF is another substring. All these are substrings of length 2. Similarly, we have seen the substrings of length 3. Okay. Now, what are the substrings of length 4? ABCD can be one substring of length 4. Okay. BCDE can be another substring. Okay. CDEF can be another substring. These are the 3 substrings of length 4. Okay. Similarly, what is the substring of length 5? ABCDE. This is one substring of length 5. BCDEF. This is another substring of length 5. Similarly, if I talk of a substring of length 6, this entire string is also a substring of length 6. Do you understand the idea of a substring? So your substring can be any length long, starting from 1 character long till the big entire string. That is also a substring. Is AB and BC the same substring? Definitely not, right? Inka contents ही अलग-अलग है. This is AB and this is BC, two different substrings, right? So similarly, if I give you an array, 8, 7, 8, 5, 4, okay, and I ask you, is this a valid subarray? Is this a valid subarray? 7, 8, 5. Yes, this is a valid subarray. Okay. Is this a valid subarray? Is this a valid subarray? 4. Yes, this is a valid subarray. Is this a valid subarray? 8, 7, 8, 5. Yes, this is a valid subarray. Is this a valid subarray? 7, 5, 4. No, this is not a valid subarray because 7, 5, 4. You have skipped 8, right? So all the characters or all the numbers are not taken one after the other. So this is not a continuous part. Okay, 7 ke baad you have skipped the number. So this is not a subarray. This is basically a subsequence. Okay, cool. So I think the concept of a substring or a subarray is clear to everyone, right? Substring is nothing but it is a continuous part of a substring. Okay, a good question. Is BA a substring? No. Okay, a substring should maintain the ordering of the original string. ठीक है, तो अगर original string में A के बाद B आया है ना, तो substring you cannot have as BA. This is not a valid substring. AB is a valid substring. Okay, the ordering of the characters, they should not get disturbed. Okay, भाई हिंदी में बताता हूँ, हिंदी में क्या बोल रहा हूँ कि सबस्ट्रिंग क्या हुआ? सबस्ट्रिंग हुआ मेरे स्ट्रिंग का एक पार्ट. ठीक है, कोई भी टुकड़ा उठा लो स्ट्रिंग का, दैट इज अ सबस्ट्रिंग. ओके, तो अज्यूम करो A B C D E F ये स्ट्रिंग है. ठीक है, तो अगर तुम ये 4 कैरेक्टर एक साथ ले लो तो दिस इज अ सबस्ट्रिंग. A B C D एक सबस्ट्रिंग है. ठीक है, टेक ऑल दीज कैरेक्टर्स B C D E F, दिस इज आल्सो अ सबस्ट्रिंग. ओके, सारे कैरेक्टर्स को ले लो एक साथ, ये भी एक सबस्ट्रिंग है, राइट? ऑल द कैरेक्टर्स शुड बी वन आफ्टर द अदर. ओके, एनी पार्ट ऑफ अ स्ट्रिंग, एनी कंटिन्यूअस पार्ट ऑफ अ स्ट्रिंग, नाउ दैट पार्ट कैन हैव लेंथ फ्रॉम 1 कैरेक्टर till all the way till the length of the string. Okay, cool guys. So once you have understood the concept of a substring, let us have a method or a function which will help me to, extract substrings from a string. Okay, subarray same cheez hai bhai. Subarray is the same thing, right? A continuous portion of an array is a subarray. Okay, if EWR, okay, I'll take questions a little bit later, right? Cool. Now let's come down. Let's come down, right? So how do I basically, extract a substring? Okay, so we have a method dot substring. Okay, and what you have to do is you will be basically specifying a index here. Okay, so when you say s dot substring 3, you know what will happen? An entire new string will be created which is consisting of the substring from index number 3 till the end. So this will give me the substring from index number 3 till the end of the string. So can anybody help me what this will print? S dot substring 3. So I am starting from index number 3 and going till the end of the string. So what is index number 3? 0, 1, 2, 3. So it will give me a string which is consisting of LO space world. Do you all agree? This will give you a new string which is consisting of LO space world. So if you try to run it and see, okay, LO space world. So this is how this will give you the substring from index number 3 till the end of the string. Now, guys, tell me one thing. Every substring will have a starting and an ending index. Do you agree? यहाँ देखो मैंने जितने भी substring दिखाए हैं, all the substrings that I have shown you, every substring has a starting and an ending index. Do you agree? सोच के देखो. If you're talking of any string, right? Let's talk of a 1 character substring. Okay, I am talking, this is a substring. Okay, then This is index 0, index 1, index 2. So this substring starting index is 2, ending index is also 2. Let's say I am talking about this substring B, C, D, E, F. Then the starting index of this substring will be index 1 and the ending index will be index 5. So what I am telling you is every substring will have a starting index and every substring will have an ending index. That is true for any given substring. Okay. So there is another way of extracting substrings. Okay. So what I can do is, let's say I do s dot substring. Boss, can you give me the substring which starts at index number 3 and goes till index number 7? Okay. Let's say I've written something like this, s dot substring 3, 7. So what it will give you? This will give you the substring, okay, starting from index number 3 and going till, you know where? Starting from index 3 and going till index 6. Okay. So this upper index that you specify, right? This is not inclusive. So this will give you the substring from index number 3 to index number 6. So what is index number 3? 0, 1, 2, 3. 3, 4, 5, 6. So LO space W, that will get printed. Is this clear? LO space W. Let's try to run it and see. LO space W. See, LO space W. So starting from index number 3 till index number 6, it will give you the substring from index 3 till index number 6. Okay. What if you give index greater than size? Chalo, good question. Let's try. Let's try. See, all these things you can try, right? I think it should give me till the end then, if it is intelligent enough. No, it is not intelligent enough. Okay. So if you look very carefully, it has given me an error. Ki boss, your ending is outside the bounds. Okay. आप बोल रहे हो the ending index of the substring is 100, but your length of the string is only 12. So it gives you an exception. Okay. So it will throw you an error. But anyways, not interested till that. Okay. So these all things, right? You can try to experiment a little bit on your own, right? You will understand what is happening and what are the different things, right? Yes, the starting index is included, but the ending index is not inclusive. Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll solve questions. Don't worry. We'll also take up questions, right? Now, the next function that we want to understand is the replace method. Replace method, right? And see, guys, I think I have told this earlier also. Every character is internally stored as an ASCII number, right? So small letter A has an ASCII code of 97. Capital A has an ASCII code of 65. Every character has an ASCII mapping. Okay. Now, where were we? Okay, the next function that we want to understand is the replace function. Okay. So s dot replace. Okay. Let's say replace, and I say wherever you get an L, can you please replace it with an F? Wherever you get an L, can you please replace it with an F? This function is pretty clear, right? Wherever it finds a character L, it will replace it with F. So if I print, what will happen? Three idiots, right? So he basically replaced wherever you had, that stuff, he replaced it with a C with a B or whatever. Okay. So what will be the output? HEFFO space WORFD. Let's try to run it. Acha guys, and another same question back to you. Do you think this change has taken place in the original string S, or a brand new string has been created and you are printing that brand new string? You are printing the brand new string. Okay. So what will happen? This will replace all occurrences of L with F. Okay. Now, converting from lower to upper case will change the memory as well. Might not change, right? Because at the end of the day, if you are talking of Unicode or ASCII, right, both capital and small, they can fit inside the same range. Okay. Can you replace F into 1? Let's see. लो कर लो भाई. L को 1 पे कर लेते हैं, पता चल जाएगा. Why not? Okay, ultimately this is just another character, right? See, 1 1. Okay. Now, similarly, you can also, replace strings. you can also replace strings. Okay. So s dot replace, let's say I am telling you this, wherever you get a double L, okay, replace it with yo boy. Okay. Wherever you get a double L, replace it with yo boy. So you can even replace strings. Okay. So what will happen? This is a double L. So you will get he, yo boy, and this. Right. So you cannot replace an f into a 1 that is an integer, right? 1 will be a character only. Correct. Let's try to run it. And see guys, generally I am not a very big fan of these functions, right? I generally try to write my own for loop and do the changes in the string. That is how I am very much comfortable, right? So LL, wherever LL occurred, this was the occurrence of LL. This LL got replaced with yo boy. So see HE, yo boy, O space WORLD. Okay. No, it doesn't have any effect on the original string. If you print the string S after all these operations, you will see that string S is still hello world. Okay. Hello world. Okay. Hey, you can change LL to ACU. Why not? You can do. Just write it here, right? Just write ACU. Okay. S will remain the same itself, right? That no changes have happened in S. This is a brand new string. So think of it like we're creating a new string, right? Which is consisting of the contents of S, where every LL will be replaced with ACU. Okay. Cool. Wait, guys, wait. Please don't spam. Okay. Now, the next method, a couple of last methods, and then we'll solve a couple of simple questions. Okay. Now, another method that I want you to guys to understand, and that is very important, is the split method. Okay. Split method. So how does the split method actually work? Okay. See, you are telling that wherever you get a double L, replace it with ACU. Okay. So these two characters will be replaced with ACU. No problem, right? Nobody is telling that in place of these two characters, you can only put, put two characters. Why not? You can replace these two characters with 10 letters. That is not an issue, right? Okay. Let's come back to the PPT. Try to understand the split. How to take string as input? Very good question, Mehran. I'll discuss that. That is also on the cards, right? Okay. So the next method that I want you guys to understand is the split method. Hello world. Okay, let's put a full stop. Okay, let's do it. Hello world space my name. Okay. So let's say I've taken a string like this. Okay, hello space world space my space name. Okay. And what I am talking about is I want you guys to understand the split keyword. Now what happens is the split is a method. और पता है split क्या करता है? My split method will split my string into multiple parts. Okay. So I will do something like this. S dot split. I want to split my string S. At what? Let's say I put a space here. Okay. That is, I want to split my string at spaces. So what will happen? One split will happen here. One split will happen at this space. One split will happen at this space. Think of it like you are cutting a cake, right? So you are cutting your string at every space. So at every space, you have introduced a cut in your string. And how many strings have been now formed? Now you are talking of 4 different strings, right? One is hello. The second string is world. The third string is my. And the fourth string is name. So this s dot split will basically split my string at this blank space, which you have told. Okay. And then it will return to you an array of strings. Okay. So you will get an array of strings. You can call it anything. Ret is equal to s dot split. So what will happen is this split method will split my string at the spaces, and you will get an array of strings as the return type. Okay. So hello. The second will have a world. Okay. The third entry will have my, and the fourth entry will be name. Okay. So you will get this array of strings. Okay. And all the strings are separated at space. Okay. So now if you print the contents of this array, at index 0, you have this hello. At index 1, you have this string world. At index 2, you have my. At index 3, you have name. Okay. Is the idea of this split making sense? Spaces, not first spaces, spaces, right? Wherever you get a space, that will be, used as a split when you are specifying space. Now let's say you specify something like this, right? Hello, my name, my name, something like this, right? And let's say this time I'm asking you, can you split? I say s dot split. Can you please split at y? Can you split at y? So wherever you see a y now, draw a line for your easier understanding. Okay. How many cuts you have got? Two cuts हुआ ना, मतलब you have three parts. What are the three parts? The first string is hello space m. The second string is space name space m. And the third string is space name. So you will get an array of strings. The first string will be hello space m. The second string will be space name space m. Okay, you are splitting at y's. Y गया तो y पे तो split कर दिए ना, y पे cut कियो cake को. So nobody will get a y, right? And the third string will be space followed by name. Is this making sense, guys? Yes, y will get excluded because you're splitting at y. Okay. Is this making sense? Yes. Okay. Okay. So let's try to write this. Slice is different. Okay. Slicing is different. And trimming is also different. Trimming is more like you are removing the, leading and trailing white spaces. Okay. So when you remove the spaces from the string, that is when we say, we are trimming our string. Okay. Now let's try to understand. Now, what I'm wanting you guys to understand, let's say you have hello space world space my space name is space Adarsh. Okay, hello world, my name is Adarsh, something like this, full stop. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to split it at spaces, right? So what I do, I know that after splitting, I will get an array of strings. So let us make an array of strings. Let us call it as ret. This array of string ret is equal to s dot split. I will split my string s at spaces. Okay. So my s string will be split at spaces, and all the strings that I get after splitting, they will be stored in this array of strings ret. Okay. So now if I want to print the contents of this array, what do I do? Can I simply do something like this? For int I equal to 0, I less than ret dot length, I plus plus. You can simply do a println of ret of I, and ret of I is nothing but a string. Do you agree, guys? You have split at spaces, so you will get all the strings as a part of this array of strings. And then I am iterating over this array and then printing the contents of this array. That is all the strings. Okay. That is how the split method has been designed, right? It will split the string at whatever delimiter you say, and then it will return an array of strings. Okay. No, we are not creating a new object for ret, right? Split will automatically create a new array for you, and you are simply pointing ret to that array. Ret is the name of the array that you get after splitting the string. Okay. Let's try to run it and see. See, guys. Hello, my name is Adarsh. So all the splitting has happened at the space. Okay. Now, another way of printing, or this loop I wanted to tell you guys. Okay. Acha, what happens if I write it in single quotes? Chalo karke dekh lete yaar. Space. Okay. Okay. So your split basically takes a string. Okay. Character cannot be converted to string. So whenever you are splitting, you have to specify a string only. Okay. So you have to specify within double quotes. Okay. You cannot split at characters. You have to split at strings. It will take another string. Okay. How many of you are clear with how the split is working? How many of you are clear with how a split is working? Yeah, the return type is an array. So split is basically giving you an array of strings. Okay. Okay, cool. Now, please explain one more time. Okay. Acha, let's try, right? See, HELLO. Hey, what's up? Okay. This is my string. And let's say I say split it at ease. I tell you s dot split your string at e. Okay. So jahan pe bhi e dikh raha hai na, wherever you see e, make a cut for your understanding. Make a cut. Split at E, make a cut. Any other E? No. So you have made two cuts. So now you have split your string into three parts. The first part is just consisting of H. This is my first string. Okay, this. What is my second string? LLO space H. This is my second string. LLO space H. Okay. The second string will be LLO space H. And what is the third string? Y space what's up. This entire thing, right? So you will get an array consisting of these three strings. So at the 0th index, you will have this string. At index number 1, you will have LLO space H. At index number 2, you will have Y space what's up. Okay. E has been chopped off, right? E has been removed. You have split at E. आपने केक कट कर दिया ना ई पे, तो ई तो गया. ओके, कूल. कैन यू डू रेट ऑफ 1 इज इक्वल टू एक्चुअल? ट्राई करो गाइस, ट्राई करो. ओके. And so what is happening? An array object will be created and you will get an array of strings and I will make ret point to this particular array. Okay. So your first space will have H, second will have LLO space H, the third will have, let's say, Y space whatever. Okay. Cool. Yep. And another way, another loop that I wanted to talk about a little early, but now I think is a good time to talk about this loop, is something known as a for each loop. Okay. Now, whenever you talk of, printing arrays or printing strings, right? Is this a proper way of creating a string array? Can be one of the ways, right? Can be one of the ways. Okay. Now, another way of printing an array is using a for each loop. So let's say you have an array of integers. Right? You have an array of integers. How did we print this array? For int I equal to 0, I less than arr dot length, I plus plus, and we printed SOP arr of I. Okay. So everyone knows how to print array using this method, right? Now, another way of iterating through any array, okay, or a string can be using a for each loop. And how do I use a for each loop? Let's say we know that we are talking of an array of integers. So we write something like this. For, listen to me very carefully, for every integer x, for each integer x belonging to ARR, let's say the name of the array is ARR. So for every integer x, for each integer x belonging to ARR, let's say I tell you print x. So what will happen? First of all, x will take a value of 1, then x will take a value of 2, then x will take a value of 3, then x will take a value of 8, then x will take a value of 7, then x will take a value of 6. So I am telling for every integer x, so the first integer is 1, then 2, then 3, then 8, then 7, then 6. So for every integer x that is present in array ARR, print that integer x. This is known as a for each loop. So similarly, when you had an array of strings, right? When you had an array of strings available with you, you can print the array of strings using a for each loop. How? For every string x, you can put here any name, right? For every string x belonging to ret, let's say the name of the array is ret. For each string x belonging to ret, can you please print x? So every string, the first hello will be printed, then my, then name will be printed. Okay. Okay. So see guys, using a normal for loop, you were iterating through the indexes. But using a for each loop, you are actually iterating over the values in your array. So for every string x, so first of all, x will take a value of hello, then it will take a value of my, then it will take a name. So first hello will be printed, then my, then name. Okay. Same as for loop, another way of printing, right? Another way. Okay. How to compare two strings? Good question. Okay. Let's try to do it, right? String s is equal to, let's say I am making two strings, right? Tell me guys, what do you think? See, S dot split will basically give you an array, right? Then you have to iterate over the array and print the contents, right? Can anybody tell me what should be the output? False, right? Because you are comparing the addresses and not the contents. Take look, false. Okay. Now, if you want to compare the contents, you will have to use the is equal method. S dot is equal. So are the contents of the string S1 and S2 the same? And this will basically, I don't exactly remember, is equals S dot equals hai kya? I am not sure. There is a method, even I don't remember. Let me Google it up. Okay, S dot equals S2, right? So this method equals, this will take two strings S1 and S2 and it will compare the contents of the string. Okay. But now if I ask you something like this, let's say string S3 is equal to yo, okay? And let's say I do string S4 is equal to yo, okay? And now if you do S3 is equal to S4, it will give you a true. Why? Because they are at the same address. They are at the same address because they have been made in the string pool. So if you run it, now you will see true getting printed for this as well. See true at the end, right? Cool, guys. See, you can Google it up, right? Equals hai ya kya hai, right? But yeah, is the basic idea clear to everyone? The basics of strings. Line number 38. What is line number 38 doing? Line number 38 is checking the addresses of string S3 and S4. Now, because I have made both strings via the string literal format, right? They S3 and S4 are pointing to a single occurrence of yo, right? There is only one occurrence of yo in the string pool, and S3 and S4 are both pointing to that. So the address of S3 and S4 will be the same. Okay. And here, see, I have made two different string objects. So when you did a comparison using double equal to, right, both S1 and S2 are pointing to two different string objects. So their addresses are not the same. So you were getting a false. But the contents of both the string are same, yo. So when you do a S1 dot equals S2, you are actually comparing the contents of the string. And that is why it returns a true to you. Okay. Okay. So now I think we have all understood these basic operations, right? We are getting something else. If you directly print, please repeat when to use. See, you can use literal or new interchangeably, right? Ideally, you can use any one of them, right? It's not a problem, right? So in questions also you can use any. Okay, that's not a problem at all. Okay. How do we multiply or add two strings? 28 में array. Hello, how are you split? See, you are printing S dot split, right? So you are printing the array. So if you print the array, see guys, I am iterating over the ret array and printing ret of I. Now, if you try to do something like this, print ln ret, then definitely you will get something else only, right? If you print ret, it will give you the address, right? So if you do something like this, print ln, okay. If you do S dot split, okay, S dot split, let's say you are splitting at space, okay. So this gives you an array and you are printing the array. So it will print the address, right? Okay, cool. So let's take up a couple of basic questions, right? Let's take up a couple of basic questions and then we can do. Okay. So the first question that we have to take into account, how to take string input bataunga. Okay. Let's talk of taking inputs of a string, right? So the two methods that we talk about, okay. See, मैं वही तो बोला ना. Let's say if you do S1 equal to S2 here, you might think that you are comparing the strings, but you are comparing the addresses, and this will give you a false because S1 and S2 are both different objects. So in order to compare the contents, you have to use a equals method. Okay, cool. देखो, the difference between these two yo's, one is inside the heap memory and one is inside the string pool. That is the difference. Okay. S1 is inside the heap memory and S3 is inside the string pool. That is the difference. Okay. Okay, let's quickly talk about taking inputs from the user, and I think that will bring us to a conclusion for today's session at least, right? Okay. So how do I take input from the user? The two important functions that we want to understand whenever we want to take input from the user is the next function and next line. These are the two methods that we will be talking about. Okay, next and next line. Obviously, both these methods are associated with scanner. Okay. So how do I understand these two methods, right? How do I understand these two methods? Okay. So if I give you an idea, right? The sc.next, right? So you have a scanner and these methods are associated with a scanner. So what does the next method do? The next method will read the input. S method will read the input until it encounters a space, or new line character. Okay. So basically, my next method will read the input until it actually hits a space or it enters the new line character. So space or a new line character is the delimiter. ठीक है? तो जो next method है ना, ये space को नहीं पढ़ेगा. ये बात याद रखना. The moment it gets a space, it will stop reading. Space is a delimiter. Space or the new line character. So I generally tell you that using the next method, you can read a word. Okay. And what is the next line method? The next line method will read the input until it gets new line character. So it will read spaces also, right? Next line method reads the spaces also. So long story short, when you use a next line method, let's take an example, right? I'll comment up all these things. Don't need this. Okay, let's make a scanner. Okay. Yeah, I'll share with the document, right? I'll share the link also today. I think Lakshya has been forgetting. I'll share the link. I think he forgot. Okay. Now let's try to understand, right? So let's say I take a string input, string s is equal to sc dot next line. Okay. I am using the next line method to read an input from the user. Okay. Now what does the next line method do? चलो करके देखते हैं. अच्छा print तो किए नहीं, print भी कर लेते हैं. Okay. So I am taking the input of a string for the user. Array string के साथ बराबर कहाँ हो रहा है भाई? Okay. So it is waiting for an input. So let's say I give an input. Hey, something like this. Hey, my name is Adarsh. Okay, I have given a string. Now the moment I put an enter, line number 28. See, line number 28 is nothing, right? S dot split is basically splitting your string at spaces, and then it basically gives you an array of strings. And I am just storing that array of strings in the ret variable. Okay. Now, so I have given this input of a string. Hey, mu equal to y name is Adarsh. The moment I press and enter, what will happen? The next line method will start working and it will read this entire sentence until it gets a new line character at the end. So this entire sentence will be read, stored in the variable s, and then I am printing out s in the next line. Okay. So whenever you use the next line method, think of it like you are reading the entire sentence. Okay. Your cursor will start and it will read the entire sentence till it encounters the new line character. Is this making sense, guys? How is the next line working? Yes? Acha. Let's take another example. Okay, if I press enter, what do you think will be the output? What do you think will be the output? Starting mein, it has all spaces, right? What do you think will be the output? What do you think? As it is, right? Same entire thing will come as it is. Because what will happen? Next line method can read spaces, right? So as soon as I press enter, it will start reading from here, read all the spaces. Yo, my name is Adarsh. And then it encounters the new line character. It will stop, store the contents in variable s, and I am printing s in the next line. Okay. So this entire thing will be printed as it is. Is everyone clear till here? How is the next line function behaving? Okay. Now we need to understand how does the next method work. Now what does the next method do? The next method will basically read until it gets a space. ये reading start करेगा and ये कब रुकेगा? The moment it encounters a space or it encounters a new line character, it will stop reading. So that is why we say that, you know, the next reads a word and next line reads a sentence. Okay, let us try to run it and see. Okay. Hello, my name is. Okay. Now tell me guys, when I press enter, what will sc.next read? Can anybody help me? तो जैसे ही मैं enter press करूंगा, पता है क्या होगा? The cursor will start reading from here. HELLO. The moment it encounters a space, the cursor will stop here. And this hello will be stored in the string S and I will print hello in the next line. Okay. So if I run it, see, only hello is printed. Achha. And just to make you guys clear, okay guys, same input. Can you tell me what is the output? Same input. Can you help me with the output? See, hello, my name is. Can anybody tell me what is the string that gets stored in S? Hello, only hello, right? And what is the string that will get stored in T? Dekho bhaiya, sc.next will read HELLO. And the moment it encounters a space, this will stop. The cursor is here. Now what will happen? sc.next line starts reading. And sc.next line does not have a problem with space. So it will start from this space, my name is, and then it will hit the new line character. Okay. So this entire string will be printed as it is. Okay. So sc.next ने hello read किया and sc.next line read from this space my name is. Okay. Right? Okay. Another question. Another question. Can you tell me what will be the output? Can you tell me what will be the output? Okay. You might be tricked into telling me nothing, but that is why I am telling you. यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा trick है. भाई देखो, the moment I press enter, sc.next has to start reading. Okay, there are some contents in the line, right? But sc.next क्या बोलेगा? भैया starting में space है, and I don't read spaces. So sc.next will skip all these spaces. It will read Adarsh, then it will encounter the new line character and it will store Adarsh in S. Okay, so all the spaces will be removed. देखो, only Adarsh is needed. Okay, so भाई देखो ना, आपने sc.next को कॉल किया ना, you called sc.next and where my cursor is standing at spaces. So sc.next will not read the spaces. आपने sc.next को बुलाया ना, तो sc.next will tell, okay, I don't read spaces, but you have called me, so you have something for me to read, right? So it will skip all the spaces and then it sees that yes, there is an Adarsh, reads Adarsh, stores it in the variable S, and you have printed S. Okay. So now I will give you some input outputs. You will tell me what should be the output, right? Now tell me this. Now let's look at some input output examples, right? So the case one, I'm just typing it out. I have it typed already. We will take assignment questions also, don't worry, right? Yes, similarly, sc.nextInt also skips the spaces, right? It reads integer, so that skips the spaces. Okay. Now help me, guys. Help me with the outputs, right? 4 questions we have. Now you will have to help me. If you are able to do this, then yes, your concept is correct. Fine. Okay. So let's run it. So the input that I will be giving is something like this: Accio job, and in the next line I will say rocks. Anybody, can you help me? Enter rocks. What will be the output? In the string S1, you will have AccuJob, and in string S2, you will have rocks, right? So AccuJob rocks will be printed. Okay, that is fine. सबको समझ में आया ये? sc.next, first it will read this word, encounters a new line character, job done. The second sc.next will read this, encounters a new line character, job done. And then you are just printing it out on the screen. Okay. Let's take another example. Okay. Let's take another example. This is the same input, I would say. Okay. Let's try to do like this. If you want to, store spaces, then use a next line, right? Batao bhai. I will put enter here. What will be the output? Will the space be also taken? I am more interested in that. S1 will store AccuJob and S2 will store ROCKS. The space in between will be skipped, right? Because see, the first sc.next will read AccuJob, my cursor will be here. The second time sc.next will be called, it will skip this space. Ki bhaiya main space to read nahi karta hu. Skip the space, read ROCKS, get the new line character, store ROCKS in S2. Okay, so the output will be same as before. Okay, that's fine. Let's look at another example. Nessie.next line, and here let's have a next. Okay, and my input will be okay. Okay, I press and enter here. Can you tell me? It is waiting. It is waiting for input, right? It is waiting for input. Why? Because sc.next line has read this entire line and stored it in S1. It is waiting for me, right? अब S2 के लिए क्या दोगे? कुछ भी दे दो. Hello. Okay. So this thing will be printed. Okay. अच्छा. Another. Let's take it like this. Okay, can you help me? Can you help me? What is stored in S1? Only Accio, right? And what is stored in S2? Space से लेकर पूरा end तक. Starting from this space till the end, everything will be stored. Okay. So if I put an enter, you will see Accio, then space से लेकर rocks yo boy. Okay. Last one question, then I think you will be done. Okay. Now, acha guys, basically you need to understand one thing. Okay, let's take this both next line. Right? So both the lines will be stored in separate strings and this will be printed as it is. Okay, cool guys. So tell me, is everyone clear with how to take inputs from the user? String inputs using a next and a next line. Yes. Okay. Now quickly we will come to two small questions. We will take two small questions. Okay. Now the first question that we have, the first question is, boss, you are given a string. Okay, you are given a string. Okay, you are given a string. Let's say, hello, my name is Adarsh. You are given a string, right? And you have been given another string T. Okay, you have another string. I don't know, right? Let's say that you have taken SNT input from the user. And what I want you to check is if T is a substring, if T is a substring of S, print true, else print false. Pretty simple question. You have been given two strings S and T. If T is a substring of S, print true, else print false. Can you tell me how you can solve this problem simply taking help of which function that we have already studied? Anybody? What function you might use? If T is a substring, you print true, else you print false. Index of. Look at index of. Can I tell you something like this? If S dot index of T, okay, if I find t, okay, if s dot index of t equal to -1, okay, if the index of t is equal to -1, that means t is not present in S. That means t is not a substring. So I will print ln, let's say not a substring, or just print false, right? Let's print false. Okay. Else, if index of doesn't give you a -1, that means this t is indeed present in string S. So what will I do? I will print true. Do you agree with this code, guys? So let's say I am searching for a substring LLO. I am searching for a substring LLO. Okay. Do you all agree with this? I can simply use the index of method, and if I get the output as -1, that means the string t is not present in S. That is, t is not a substring. And if you get the output as a non -1, then it means that yes, it is present in the substring. Index of t will check for the first index. Correct. But Tushar, tell me, if you have an occurrence of t, then you have the substring, right? I don't care whether it is occurring once, twice, or thrice. Even once is enough for me to say true, right? Let's try to run it. The output of this should be true. Okay. Anyways, let's comment this portion out. Is LLO a substring? Yes, LLO is a substring. So it should be printing out true. See, true. Okay. And let's say I'm looking for this substring, triple LO. Is triple LO a valid substring of string S? Definitely not. So if you run it, you will see that false is printed. Okay. Cool. So is everyone clear with this basic question? Pretty basic, just using a function. Explain line number 57. See, what is line number 57 telling you? I am asking you, ki boss, given a string S and given a string T. I have a string T and I have a string S, right? I am asking, is T a substring of S? तो भैया मेरे को एक चीज बताओ, if T is a substring of S, then T is present inside S, and definitely you will get some index for this substring T. Let's say I am asking you, अरे क्या हो गया भाई बताओ, what happened? Okay, so if I ask you, boss, is ELL a valid substring? Is ELL a valid substring? So what I will check, I will see, is ELL present inside the string or not? Yes. If ELL is present inside my bigger string, then it is a valid substring. So what do? I do S dot index of the boss. Please search for the index of ELL. Search for the index of ELL in string S. Okay. And if it gives you a -1, that means ELL is not present in the string. That means it is not a valid substring. But if it is present, index of will return to you the index of the first occurrence. And I know that if there is an index of occurrence of ELL, that means ELL is a valid substring. So I will return true. अब बताओ भाई क्या बोल रहे हो? Now tell me, what are you guys telling? Tomorrow class, yes. What if you have to find multiple substrings? Good question, right? So there you deal with a algorithm known as KMP, right? You do pattern matching inside strings. Okay. See, -1 kya hua? Index of returns a -1 if that string is not present, right? So that is what we are trying to do. How to replace a character at a particular index? First of all, you cannot replace a character at a particular index, right? If you mean by making changes in the string. When you say replacing a character, you have to create a new string which is having a different character at that index. Okay. Guys, I'm sharing the link with you all of the document. I'll copy it in the doc. Just give me some time. Okay. I'm sharing this link. Everyone has view access, right? मैंने comment का access और edit का access नहीं दिया है. Everyone has a view access to this document, right? So please make use of this document. We will be putting all the codes here. Okay. How internally it returns -1. Okay. So Rakesh, if you remember our code, right? We were searching for a number in an array, right? In that we had our logic, right? I iterate over the entire array, and if I don't get, then I returned -1. Similarly, there will be a logic, right? I evaluate each and every substring, and if I see a match, I return its index. Otherwise, I return a -1. Okay. Which is more efficient? So see, Amit, it depends on person to person. Naturally, I generally tend to write my own code, right? I never use these functions a lot. I am a big fan of writing my own code, right? Because these functions are, if you know, you know, if you don't know, you don't know. So I am more, I am a more believer of write your own logic, write your own code, because all these functions, whatever things they are doing, you can implement on your own as well. Most of the functions, right? But yeah, if you know the functions, your job becomes a little bit more simple. Okay. Time complexity wise, I would say both are almost the same, right? Achha. Are we done with 2D arrays? Theoretically, yes. Problem solving wise, no. We want to solve a couple of more questions, right? Achha. Now tell me, guys, is everyone clear with whatever we have discussed till now? I'll give you one homework. Okay. Your job is to print all substrings. Your job is to print all the substrings of a given string. Is the question making sense? You have been given a string and your job is to print all the substrings of this particular string. Okay. Hint is, you can try using the substring method. You can try using the substring method that we have discussed. Okay. But yeah, the question will be, given a string, can you print all the substrings of that string? Okay. This is your homework. I will ask all of you to try this, right? And your hint will be, you can use this substring method to print a string, to generate a string, right? Substring. And every substring has a starting and an ending index. These two hints are enough for you. Okay. Test on Sunday. Yes, you have a test on Sunday, right? Definitely you have. Acha guys, I am not starting with anything new now because it's almost time. It's just 10 minutes left. So now tell me, tomorrow, what timing are you all comfortable? Subah, dopeher, can we keep it? So I'll stop the recording. Let's not,